So configuring your ImSim Talento SimPedals on iRacing, it's really simple. So you go on Options and Pedals, and obviously if you don't have the pedal set up, it'll actually ask you straight away. You need to configure your pedals, so just go over here and press the throttle, release the throttle. Leave a little bit dead zone, done. Brake as much as you want, lift it. A little bit of dead zone, so press the pedal gently and press done. Why are we doing this? It's so it doesn't activate mid corner or in a straight, so it's not braking on its own. Clutch, the same thing, and you can even do the same thing that we did on Assetto Corsa. So you reset, go only up to 70%, go only down to 30% and click done. And that's it. The pedals are set up, and these dead zones that I spoke about are actually quite useful because they avoid that your throttle, your clutch or your brake activate without the need for it or without you touching. Why this happens? Well, sometimes your rig shakes or you touch the pedals by accident, and that will actually activate the pedal and you might not want it. So that's good. Also on the throttle, rather than going all the way up and using all the travel for 100% throttle, you can also press reset and just before the maximum go back with your pedal and press done. Why? Because very often when we're fine-tuning or calibrating our pedals, we're pushing them very hard, and then during a race, especially endurance racing, or if you race for a very long time, you might get a little bit tired and then you're not pressing as hard the throttle, and the problem is instead of doing 100% you're doing 90 something percent, which actually loses quite a lot of horsepower, and it just means that you lose races. So again, very easy to configure, and we're going to go through that whole process again slower so you can actually see step by step how it's done, but it's essentially that. It's very simple to do. Quite important to actually leave some dead zones on these, because regardless of whatever pedals you're using, because when it comes to the beginning of the travel of the throttle, it's fine. You can leave it as it is, because usually throttling, using the throttle a little bit, it doesn't affect your driving whatsoever. But on the top, it's quite important that you don't actually go all the way forcing the pedal while setting this up, for the simple reason that sometimes you might be in a endurance race and your foot gets tired and you're not making as much pressure on the pedal as you did on calibration. So it's better to reset this and go just before the maximum and then come back. So this way you're sure that once you're on gas and you're going to be 100% on gas at all times. So that's it. If you want, it is my personal advice, gently touch the pedal and press done. So that way it's not going to clip just because your rig is shaking or because you touched your pedal. Our pedals are so sensitive that they pick up all of those things. So even if that happens, you will not be clipping or touching the throttle without wanting to. So on the brake pedal, again, the same. Same thing, you should close your eyes, exercise, imagine you're in a race, and then calibrate it so the maximum is what you actually use during the race, so you're not having to press a lot harder than you intuitively want to press. And if you're driving a car that has ABS and you don't want to apply the 100% force all the time, maybe while calibrate a little bit more, so then when you're exercising, when you're actually on track racing, you stay within those 70 to 75% braking or whatever threshold braking value it is. And then again, so we go there, we go to that value, and then just before, I'm actually pressed a little bit too hard, so I'm just going to do something to my taste, to my liking. Try it again. Something like this would be nice for me. And now gently touch the pedal so you won't have braking, random braking while you're playing. So something like this, this, and then this, and press done. So it's actually a very simple process. At the end, I'm going to do it fast, so you can see that after you understand the procedure, it's actually very fast to do. So now the clutch, obviously do not want an auto clutch. I definitely want my clutch. And again, my personal liking, I don't go with the clutch all the way up. I actually use it to about 70% and then calibrate it for about 30% to be the 0 point and then press done. And this way we can do the same things that we did on our software on the game itself, and that's naturally done in iRacing. Another thing that I advise is to switch off force factor over here, because our pedals already, you can, with your hardware, have multiple stage forces, so it eliminates the need for this force factor on iRacing. So my personal preference, I prefer that to be 0. So why do we calibrate ImSim Talento pedals on iRacing? The answer is simple. iRacing uses raw data from the electronics, from the pedals. As a development choice, we decided to use Leo Bodnar electronics to make sure that they are as compatible as possible. So Leo Bodnar electronics are well-proven, reliable electronics. They do not yet have the capability of actually getting information from our software to the pedals and actually changing the raw data that goes into the PC. We are already working on developing a solution for that, and somewhere in the future we will have a free update. So every person who purchases Talento SimPedals now, who have purchased in the past, will have a free update on the software that will update the firmware of the electronics, and we will have that functionality as well, meaning that our software, our ImSim Talento software, will also affect iRacing. So you won't need to do different calibrations for iRacing than you do for other games, but for now, iRacing gets data straight from the pedals, the electronics, and that's why we do this special extra calibration. And yeah, everything's done and ready for racing. Let's see if the pedals work.